Okay, we are talking today about a concept in mathematics that is a pretty important one, and it helps us do a lot of problem solving. So let's look at our learning goal over here first of all. Okay, everybody over here with me. Hannah, right here. I can write ratios to describe relationships and identify whether that relationship is going to be considered a part-to-part or a part-to-whole relationship. So the first thing we need to talk about is what is a ratio then? So what is a ratio? A ratio is a comparison of two numbers. Okay, so let's fill in the blank with the word comparison. When we want to compare two numbers, we can set them in relationship to each other in a ratio. So here's an example. If we want to compare the number of students that are in here to the number of adults, okay, let's count it up. How many students are there in here? 5 over here in this row. There's 4 more in this one. What's that? 5 plus 4 is 5 plus 4 is 9. And there's 6 here, so 9 plus 6 is 15. There are 15 students in the classroom. And how many adults? 3. Okay. So if we want to compare the number of students to the number of adults in this classroom, the ratio of students to adults, it can be written 3 different ways. We can write it as 15, T-O, the word 2, 3. We can write it as 15 colon 3. That stands in really still for the word 2, T-O. So notice in the wording up here, it had the word 2, students to adults. And then the last way we can write it is as a fraction, or it looks like a fraction anyway. It doesn't necessarily mean it is a fraction, but we can use the fraction bar to show the word 2, T-O. Okay? Now it's really important that when we're making these comparisons, when we're making a comparison, we're going to have some order to it. Order matters in ratios. So when they ask you to write a ratio comparing two things, you need to follow the order that they want them compared in. So a ratio, I said, can be written as a fraction. Remember, that was our third way. We're going to use the fraction bar. But we have to have an understanding of that there is, just because it is written like a fraction does not mean it represents a fraction. Sometimes it might, sometimes it may not. So let's find the differences between a fraction and a ratio. A fraction always shows a part-to-whole relationship. How many parts out of the whole when we're talking about a fraction? So if you get 1/3 of the pizza, you're getting 1/3 of the whole pizza, not part of 1/3 of a part. When we talk about fractions, we compare parts to whole. And it never shows a part-to-part relationship. When we are talking about a fraction, it's never going to show a relationship of a part being compared to another part. Okay? But when we have a ratio, it differs in the fact that it sometimes shows a part-to-whole relationship, not always like a fraction does, but sometimes. And it sometimes shows a part-to-part relationship. Or this should be a part-to-part, sorry. That's wrong in the notes. Will you change that for it? Cross out the word whole there and make it a part. So a ratio sometimes shows a part-to-whole relationship, whereas a fraction never does. A ratio sometimes, when it's not showing a part-to-whole, then it's showing a part-to-part. And remember, a fraction never shows a part-to-part. So this is important that we understand this and that you're just paying attention to this. This is going to be helpful to you in your homework today. Okay? So, what do you think? Is the relationship of students to adults in this classroom that we just wrote above, 15 students to 3 adults, is that a part-to-part or a part-to-whole relationship? What are we comparing? Part-to-part or part-to-whole? What do you think? 15 students compared to 3 adults. Okay. Part to whole. How many people are there all together in this room? 18. Isn't that the whole?
Yeah.
The whole is 18. So are we doing a part to whole relationship? No, we're doing a part to part. Yeah, we're doing a part. That is our ratio. The way we set it up, 15 students to 3 adults, is showing us a part to part relationship. Now, if we would have compared students to the number of people in the room, 15 students to 18 people, we would have said that's a part to whole relationship. Okay? So we're going to be making sure that we always not only determine the ratio, but then what type of relationship does it have? Because a ratio, remember, is sometimes part to whole. If it's not part to whole, then it's sometimes part to part, then it's part to part. It's got to be one or the other, in other words. Okay, let's go to the back side where we can do some practice with this. So write the ratio described, it says. Determine what type of relationship it is. If there are 12 girls in a class of 26 students, what is the ratio of girls to total students? I want you right now to underline this. Ratio of, they're telling us what order right now to set it up in. Girls to total students. Girls to total students. Okay, well, what information did they give us? They gave us 12 girls, 26 students. Do we have the information we need?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to put which one first in our ratio?
12.
12, and we're going to use the colon method right now, okay? 12 to
26.
total students, 26, okay? 12 to 26. Girls to total students. Okay, what kind of a relationship is this? Part to part or part to whole? Harley? This is a part to whole. This is a part to whole relationship. We are comparing the number of girls to the total number of students, the whole. So we're going to say part to part relationship. Oh, and I wrote part to part. I mean, you told me it was part to whole, and I agreed with you even, didn't I? Goodness sakes. Okay. Thank you for correcting that. Part to whole relationship. So if you copied me, you're wrong just like I was, sorry. So it's a part to whole relationship. Okay, any questions? Okay, well let's look at number 2. If there are 12 girls in a class of 26 students, sounds like the same situation, what is the ratio of, remember we're going to underline this, ratio of girls to boys. Girls to boys. We are told there's 12 girls. We are told there are 26 students. If we need girls to boys, do we know how many girls there are? Yeah. Do we know how many boys there are?
No.
We're going to have to do something to get that, aren't we? What are we going to do? To get the number of boys, we will subtract it out here. Okay, what should our subtraction problem look like? 26.
12.
Take away the 12 girls should tell us how many boys there are. How many boys are there?
14.
14. Okay. So now we go back and we look at how are we supposed to set it up. Girls are supposed to be first in our ratio to boys. Girls is 12. Boys is 14. Part to part or part to whole? Class?
Part to part.
Part to part. I'll see if I can write it correctly this time. Part to part. Okay, I'll let us leave off the word relationship, okay? We know that that word's there, right? Part to part. When we're talking about part to part, we're saying those are the two numbers we're comparing. That's the relationship they have. Questions about that one? Okay, then let's do one more here together. Your teacher awarded prizes to 5 students during class yesterday. Well, there was no class yesterday. How did I do that? There were 15 students present. What is the ratio of non-prize winners to prize winners? Ratio of non-prize winners to prize winners. That's the order. Order matters in ratios. I can't say that enough. Order matters in ratios. And then the other thing that matters is what are you actually supposed to be comparing? So we know that there were prizes given to 5 students. Prizes to 5 students. So they're the what? The non-prize winners or the prize winners? Those, of course, are the prize winners. During class yesterday, there were 15 students present. Okay, 15 students present. What is the ratio of non-prize winners to prize winners? So we need the non-prize, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, let's write that down. We need non-prize winners. So how are we going to get that? We're going to do a subtraction of what? 15 students total. Take away the 5 that got the prizes. How many non-prize winners are there? 10. Okay, now we have to set it up in the correct order according to what they were asking us to compare. So what should our ratio look like? Wait,
10, column 5.
10 to 5, and we're using the colon to show the word 2. 10 to 5. Non-prize to prize winners. Okay, is this a part to part or a part to whole relationship? It's a part to part. Okay, they gave us a part and they gave us a whole, but what they actually wanted us to compare are part to one part to another part in it. So the information they gave us was a part and a whole, but that isn't how they wanted us to compare, so that's why we're going to do a subtraction problem, all right? Okay, no questions? You got this? You ready to work with ratios? Okay.